Have you ever stepped into a room only to be immediately overwhelmed by the sight of chaos? Not just clutter, but an invisible weight pressing down on your mind and spirit, suffocating your sense of peace. It's as if every forgotten paper, every misplaced item, is silently chaining you to a life of stress, distraction, and exhaustion. What if I told you that this invisible burden is not just physical mess but a hidden enemy that steals your energy, clouds your clarity, and threatens your health? The reality is, clutter doesn't just crowd your home, it invades your mind. Scientific studies reveal that living in disorganized environments elevates cortisol levels, the stress hormone triggering anxiety and even affecting your immune system. It disrupts your sleep, diminishes your focus, and drains your motivation. But the worst part? It often feels so overwhelming that you freeze, unsure where to start, trapped in a cycle of procrastination and guilt. Imagine waking up one day, stepping into your home, and feeling light. Not just because of a tidy room, but because your mind is free, your spirit renewed. Take the story of Joyce, a 72-year-old retired woman who once felt immobilized by the clutter amassed over 30 years. Instead of trying to tackle everything, she focused on just one small kitchen drawer for 5 minutes. That simple act of clearing out expired coupons and organizing utensils ignited a spark of motivation that changed her entire approach to her home and well-being. Every small win released dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, turning her dread into enthusiasm and helplessness into action. Starting small is not a weakness. It is a strategic power move. It honors the reality that big changes begin with small steps, and that the mind needs encouragement, not punishment. You don't need to empty a whole room today. You only need to find one hotspot of clutter that frustrates you the most, and take just 5 minutes to clear it. That one small win will ripple through your brain, creating a sense of control and hope that's essential for lasting change. So if you've ever felt trapped by clutter or overwhelmed by the chaos in your space, you are not alone, and more importantly, you are not powerless. In this video, you will discover how starting with just one small action can set you free. But before we dive deeper, make sure to subscribe and join our community of health-conscious individuals committed to transforming their spaces, minds, and lives. Your support fuels our journey to bring you more life-changing content. Now here's a question for you to reflect on and share with our community. When you look around your home, which do you feel describes your reaction to clutter the most? I feel overwhelmed and don't know where to start. B, I feel motivated to make a small change but struggle to keep going. Drop your answer A or B in the comments below. Let's start this journey together. Making quick, confident decisions when faced with clutter can feel like an insurmountable challenge. For many, the sight of piles of forgotten papers, expired coupons, or broken gadgets triggers hesitation, guilt, and even anxiety. But what if the key to transforming your living space and your mental well-being lies in embracing simplicity and decisiveness? In this journey toward a healthier, calmer life, mastering the art of letting go swiftly is not just practical. It is essential. Consider the story of George, a 68-year-old retired mechanic whose home was buried under years of accumulated maybe items. Receipts from long-closed restaurants, dried-up pens, mismatched socks, all were tokens of indecision. Holding on to these objects was less about need and more about avoiding the discomfort of making choices. This hesitation, familiar to many, becomes a silent drain on mental energy and physical health. Clutter that lingers increases stress levels, disturbs focus, and limits the space where restful moments can flourish. The breakthrough came when George adopted a straightforward yet powerful principle: the no-brainer toss. This rule liberates you from the exhausting cycle of second-guessing. If your gut instinct tells you something is junk, then it is. No ifs, no buts, no what if I need it someday. This mindset creates immediate relief, a breath of fresh air for your living space and your mind. Each item discarded is a weight lifted, reducing cortisol and allowing your nervous system to settle into a calmer rhythm. Transforming your environment begins with these small but decisive acts. George's laughter as he finally tossed away decades-old takeout menus was more than humor, it was a symbol of reclaiming control. Each item released built momentum, replacing overwhelm with accomplishment. This shift is vital not just for your home but for your overall health. Research links organized environments with lower blood pressure, improved sleep, and enhanced cognitive function, all critical for vibrant well-being. Another technique that transforms decluttering from an insurmountable task into a manageable habit is the 10-minute declutter sprint. This approach recognizes that setting a timer for a short burst of focused activity can break through procrastination and mental paralysis. Instead of viewing decluttering as an endless, exhausting chore, it becomes a series of achievable sprints, each ending with a visible, tangible result. Take Evelyn, a 72-year-old retired nurse, who once dreaded spending hours sorting through her belongings. By committing just 10 minutes at a time, she could swiftly discard expired spices, junk mail, and broken items. The ticking timer created a sense of urgency that bypassed her usual overthinking and hesitation. When the timer stopped, she felt accomplished and energized, not drained. This method taps into our natural focus cycles, allowing the brain to experience reward and satisfaction frequently, reinforcing positive habits that benefit both mind and body. However, even with these strategies, the emotional barrier of deciding what to keep versus what to discard often remains. This is where the 3-second decision rule becomes invaluable. It encourages trusting your intuition. If you cannot decide in 3 seconds, it's a sign the item likely does not serve you anymore. This quick decision-making process helps you avoid the paralysis of overanalysis and the guilt often attached to discarding possessions. Ronald's story exemplifies this transformation. A retired teacher, overwhelmed by an overflowing closet and sentimental attachments, learned to respect his instinct. When faced with an old sweater he hadn't worn in years, instead of agonizing over the decision, he acknowledged the truth and donated it. This quick choice freed mental space and made subsequent decisions easier. The health benefits of this clarity extend beyond physical organization, reducing stress hormones, improving mental focus, and enhancing emotional resilience. Letting go is seldom easy, especially when items carry memories or perceived value. But holding on to things solely because of guilt, attachment to gifts, or the cost involved traps you in clutter and mental clutter alike. True health and happiness come not from possessions, but from the freedom to live fully in the present. When you release what no longer adds value to your life, you create space for peace, joy, and new experiences. This section of your decluttering journey is about embracing decisiveness as a form of self-care. By making quick, effective choices, you protect your mental and physical health from the hidden harms of clutter. As you develop these habits, you will notice a profound shift, a lighter home, a calmer mind, and a stronger, healthier you. When it comes to decluttering, many people find themselves stuck not with the sheer volume of things, but with indecision. They move items from one pile to another without making real progress, caught in an endless cycle of sorting and resorting. This pattern drains not only physical energy but also mental clarity, leading to frustration and a sense of defeat. To break free from this exhausting loop, adopting an organized and intentional sorting method is crucial. One of the most effective systems to overcome this paralysis is the one-touch sorting system. This method requires you to make a firm decision the moment you touch each item. Keep it, donate it, or discard it. There is no room for hesitation or creating maybe piles that simply prolong the clutter. This approach forces immediate action, reducing procrastination and giving you clear, measurable results. Setting up 3 distinct boxes or bags can help you physically separate your choices, turning abstract decisions into tangible progress. Alice, a 68-year-old grandmother, found herself overwhelmed by years of accumulated belongings. Each attempt to declutter ended with piles of things waiting for her decision, creating mental clutter that overshadowed her physical space. When she embraced the one-touch sorting system, she experienced a profound shift. Instead of endlessly shuffling items, she sorted decisively: shoes to donate, broken makeup to trash, cherished sweaters to keep. For the first time, items truly left her home, creating room for peace and rejuvenation. But decluttering is not only about material possessions. It also deeply involves our memories and emotions. Sentimental items hold a powerful grip, often preventing us from letting go even when physical space demands it. These items can be birthday cards, letters from loved ones, souvenirs from special occasions, each carrying a story, a feeling, a connection to the past. Letting go of these possessions can feel like losing a part of ourselves, stirring feelings of guilt and sadness. However, health and well-being flourish when we learn to distinguish between holding on to memories and holding on to things. The truth is, memories live within us, not within objects. By preserving memories in a way that frees up physical space, we create an environment that nurtures mental clarity and emotional resilience. One transformative strategy for managing sentimental clutter is to take photographs of the items before releasing them. This method allows you to keep a digital album of cherished memories without the physical bulk. George, a 72-year-old retired firefighter, applied this approach after years of struggle. He selected a few treasured keepsakes: his wedding ring, a letter from his late wife, a signed baseball from his grandson, and photographed the rest. This practice enabled him to revisit his memories anytime without the stress of clutter crowding his living space. Choosing what to keep becomes a gentle yet deliberate process. Rather than holding on to every single memento, focus on a few true treasures that bring you joy and meaning. This selectiveness is an act of self-care, acknowledging that the quality of your environment profoundly influences your health. The challenge lies not only in the physical act of sorting, but in overcoming the emotional barriers to letting go. It requires compassion for yourself and understanding that releasing possessions is not forgetting or disrespecting memories. Instead, it is about making room for the present and future moments that will enrich your life. As you move through this phase of decluttering, reflect on what each item truly represents to you. Ask yourself whether keeping the physical object adds value to your life or whether the memory alone suffices. This introspection supports mental clarity, reduces anxiety, and fosters emotional well-being. In embracing an organized sorting system coupled with mindful handling of sentimental items, you are not just tidying a space, you are nurturing your health. By clearing physical clutter, you reduce stress hormones and create a sanctuary for restorative sleep, focused attention, and emotional balance. The journey of decluttering is deeply personal and healing. It invites you to release what no longer serves you, making room for clarity, peace, and vibrant health. Take this step with kindness and purpose, knowing that each item you sort is a step toward reclaiming your well-being and your life. Maintaining a clutter-free space is not a one-time accomplishment, but a continuous practice that reflects our commitment to well-being and mental clarity. The true challenge lies not just in clearing out the accumulated mess, but in preventing it from returning, allowing our homes to remain sanctuaries of peace and health. This ongoing process requires mindful habits and intentional strategies that support both our physical environment and emotional balance. One of the most powerful tools in this lifelong journey is the one in, one out rule. This simple yet profound habit encourages a balance between what we bring into our homes and what we release. Each time a new item enters, whether a piece of clothing, a book, or a kitchen gadget, an old one should leave. This balance prevents the slow and often unnoticed buildup of clutter, ensuring that our living spaces remain open, breathable, and conducive to rest and rejuvenation. The one in, one out rule cultivates mindfulness around consumption and possession, promoting a conscious lifestyle that directly supports mental health by reducing the anxiety and overwhelm that come with excess. Linda, a retired teacher in her late 60s, experienced firsthand the transformative power of this practice. After diligently decluttering her kitchen and feeling the relief of space and order, she initially struggled as new items found their way back in, slowly crowding her cabinets once again. By adopting the one in, one out rule, she reclaimed control over her environment. The act of choosing to part with an old, chipped mug for every new one she acquired became a ritual of self-care and respect for her space. Her home no longer felt suffocating, and she noticed a subtle yet profound improvement in her overall sense of calm and well-being. Complementing this practice is the habit of a daily 5-minute reset. It may seem trivial at first glance, but dedicating just a few focused minutes each day to tidying a small area, be it a countertop, a coffee table, or a knitstand, can have an outsized impact on maintaining order and tranquility. This brief daily engagement prevents clutter from accumulating and transforming into a daunting task. It also fosters a sense of accomplishment and control, two vital elements for mental health, especially for older adults who may face challenges with energy and motivation. Robert, a 70-year-old widower, found solace in this simple routine. Once plagued by frustration over misplaced items and cluttered surfaces, he introduced a nightly 5-minute reset before bed. This small ritual ensured that his essentials were always in place and that his environment was peaceful upon waking. The clarity and ease this brought into his daily life reduced his stress levels, improved his sleep quality, and enhanced his focus during the day. The consistency of this habit proved more effective than sporadic, intensive cleaning sessions that often left him exhausted and discouraged. Maintaining a clutter-free home is deeply intertwined with our mental and emotional health. A clean, organized environment provides a foundation for restful sleep, sharp cognitive function, and emotional stability. It minimizes sensory overload and the stress response that chronic clutter can provoke. Furthermore, it nurtures a positive feedback loop. A tidy space encourages tidy habits, which in turn reinforce feelings of empowerment and well-being. However, sustaining this state requires more than just physical actions. It demands a shift in mindset. Viewing maintenance not as a chore but as an act of self-respect and care transforms daily habits into meaningful rituals. It aligns with the understanding that our environment profoundly influences our health, mood, and capacity for joy. Recognizing the connection between space and spirit motivates consistent effort, even when life becomes busy or challenging. To truly embrace and sustain a clutter-free life, it is essential to cultivate awareness around what we allow into our homes. This awareness acts as a filter, helping us avoid unnecessary acquisitions that lead to recluttering. It encourages us to reflect on our needs and values, fostering intentional living that supports longevity and quality of life. In summary, maintaining a clutter-free space is a holistic endeavor that blends practical strategies like the one-in, one-out rule and daily resets with a compassionate, mindful attitude towards our environment. It supports our physical health by reducing stress and enhancing relaxation, and nurtures our emotional well-being by creating a sanctuary where clarity and peace thrive. Through these ongoing practices, we can sustain not only a tidy home but a balanced, vibrant life. Shifting your mindset about clutter is perhaps the most profound step in the journey toward lasting freedom and well-being. Clutter is not merely an accumulation of physical objects. It is often a manifestation of emotional burdens, past attachments, and unresolved tensions. When we recognize clutter as a symbol of mental weight rather than just mess, we open the door to true transformation, one that touches not only our living spaces, but the very core of our health and happiness. Many people hold on to possessions out of guilt, fear, or hoping that one day they might need a forgotten item, or fearing that letting go means losing a connection to cherished memories. But true liberation comes when we understand that memories and joy are not housed in things but in our hearts and minds. This realization allows us to gently release the physical items that no longer serve us, making room for fresh energy and new possibilities. Elena, a 72-year-old woman burdened by decades of accumulated belongings, experienced this awakening. Her house, once a crowded museum of the past, became a place of peace as she started letting go, one item at a time. Each donation and discarded bag lightened not just her space but her spirit. She discovered that her home could be a sanctuary of calm rather than a source of stress, enabling her to wake up with a renewed sense of freedom and clarity. Embracing this mindset shift is not about perfection or rushing to empty your home. It is about cultivating compassion for yourself and patience for the process. It means recognizing that decluttering is also a form of self-care, an act of kindness toward your mental and physical health. The less you carry both in your space and in your mind, the more capacity you have for joy, focus, and vitality. In many ways, the process mirrors the natural rhythms of life, letting go of what no longer nourishes us to create space for growth. By releasing clutter, you are not losing memories. You are honoring them by freeing yourself to live fully in the present. This freedom manifests as improved sleep, reduced anxiety, better concentration, and increased energy pillars of holistic health. The transformation also inspires mindfulness in all areas of life. When you value clarity and simplicity in your environment, it encourages intentional choices in your relationships, diet, and daily habits. Your space becomes a reflection of your internal state, reinforcing positive changes that support longevity and well-being. Ultimately, shifting your mindset about clutter invites you to reclaim your life. It empowers you to prioritize what truly matters, to create an environment where healing and happiness can flourish. It challenges the notion that more is better, replacing it with a deep appreciation for enough. This journey toward freedom is a powerful step in nurturing your body, mind, and soul. As you move forward, remember that every small action, every item released is a step toward a healthier, more peaceful life. Begin today by choosing one thing to let go of, and feel the lightness that follows. Your home, your health, and your happiness will thank you.